In today's video, I'm sharing with you how to mindfully and slowly prepare for 2025. Let's get right into it. Okay, friends, it's that time of year to finally start thinking about the following year. We are just a few weeks away from 2025, and I don't say that to scare you or freak you out or anything like that, but it's more so to ground you in the present time and also get you set up for success as we approach the new year. These tips in today's video are very minimal. I only have 3 tips to share with you, but they're going to be extremely impactful, and they do prioritize mindfulness, intention, and slow living. So it's going to be pretty chill. You aren't going to have a large string of tasks to do after you listen to this video, I promise you, but it is going to set you up for success, and you won't have to be stressing about it come January 1st. You won't have to be scrambling and getting yourself set up at the given moment. You have a little bit of leeway time, if that makes sense. So with that being said, let's start. The first tip is to prep now rather than later. I just mentioned that, and that's what we're doing right now, but specifically, I would like you to, 1, schedule your personal quarterly reviews. What are personal quarterly reviews? I do a lot of videos on the channel where I take you through my personal quarterly reviews, and I have a new one coming out very soon, the last one for the entire year. But personal quarterly reviews are essentially ways for you to check in with yourself and hold yourself accountable for your personal values, interests, goals, things like that. So we're not talking about work goals or anything. We're talking about your interests, your goals that you are going to set up in the new year, which we'll do together. So you have time to actually set up those goals. But these are just check-ins so that you are holding yourself accountable and making sure that you are prioritizing yourself and prioritizing slow living. So just schedule it for now. What I do is I go on Google Calendar, I set up a recurring meeting, and it's just called Quarterly Review, and I set it to recur every quarter. I usually do it on a Friday. You can pick whatever day you want, but if you don't like Google Calendar, you can use whatever digital calendar you have, or you could just write it in a notebook. Just make sure that you are making note of it now and making note of it on each date that you're going to do it for the year of 2025 so that you do not forget. You really don't want to forget this, and I will continuously remind you in the new year. I promise you that. The next thing you're going to do is get your planner. If you haven't gotten a planner yet, it is now time for you to do that. It doesn't need to be a physical planner, it can be a digital one, but I love a physical planner and I love shopping for a physical planner. So make an experience out of this, head to the stationery store or a bookstore or something like that, and really live in the moment, romanticize the moment, because it's so much fun, honestly, once you get into it, and find a planner that really works for you and your lifestyle. There are so many planners out there. Also, you can browse online. You don't have to go to a store. But there are so many planners out there that fit the needs of different people and their lifestyles. So have a browse, and while you're at it, treat yourself to maybe a new pen, some sticky notes. You might as well, and you should really make a positive experience out of this, because that's going to motivate you to continuously use that planner. So make it a fun time. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is write out your monthly reflection prompts. So if you watch any of my reflection/recap monthly videos, you'll see that I go through the same exact prompts at the end of every single month. They're the same prompts because they set me up for success. I think they're effective, and you can definitely copy mine. I'll tell you what they are in a second. But if you don't want to use mine, you can go on Pinterest. You could do a quick Google search and find some journaling prompts, like monthly journaling prompts, something like that, or the given month, like January monthly prompts, and then just write them out and keep them, because you're going to continuously use that at the end of each month. And you should do that, because the time in between your quarterly reviews, you should still be checking in with yourself on a monthly basis, not to an extreme level, but at least on a minimal basis. And these prompts are going to help you do that. So my prompts are: 1, my top 3 accomplishments for the month; 2, my feelings toward long-term goals; 3, my focus for the following month; 4, upcoming challenges I anticipate for the following month; and 5, how I plan to overcome those challenges. Those really help me stay in tune with my long-term goals, because I tend to forget them if I don't do that. And then the last thing as part of this first tip is to decide on a journaling routine. So I know everybody journals in a different way. They use their planner in a different way. So this is going to be subjective. You need to really figure out what method works for you, what routine works for you. For me, I like to set up my week on a Sunday. So I'll sit down on a Sunday for like 5 minutes and just set my planner up with the things that I need to, do for the given week. And then I plop everything into the week. And then as the week approaches, Monday approaches, I start using my planner for the week. And I also do my monthly reflection on like the last week or the last day of the month. So there's a routine there. Like I check in every Sunday, I check in at the end of every month, things like that. If that works for you, you can absolutely do that. But if it's not really working out for you, if you need to use it on a more intensive level, if you need to look at it every single day and set things up every single day, do that. If you need to look at it at a lower maintenance level, you can do that as well. Just work and figure out something that is effective for you and your lifestyle. That's going to be important with being consistent and actually using it, right? But that is the very loaded tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to reflect on the year. So you can do this as part of your final quarterly review if you do quarterly reviews, but if you don't, that's absolutely fine. Just sit with yourself for a little bit at the end of this year and reflect. Think about all of the things that you've accomplished. Write it down. It might be helpful to write it down because if you just think about it, you might become blurred at the realities of just how much you've done. I promise you, you've done an immense amount. No matter how big or little it may seem, you have done a lot. So acknowledge that. And you can also acknowledge your setbacks. You can acknowledge lessons learned. You can acknowledge the bad things that have happened this year. Simply reflect and look back at this year. Maybe even go through your photos if photos is a good way of, going through and tracking your documentation of the year, and just have a moment for 2024. A year is a significant amount of time, contrary to belief. I know time seems to be speeding by, but this is a really good way to just stop, think about the year, be appreciative of the year, be grateful for the things that have happened, be grateful for the lessons that you learned through the unfortunate circumstances. So this is really, really important, and it is going to help you slow down for a little bit, and it is going to give you a greater sense of gratitude. Okay, and then the final tip is simply to relax. I told you that this list was going to be very, very chill. Relaxing is probably the most important thing. Like all of the other things are more technical, more like hands-on, okay, I can do this. And I know relaxing is probably super vague, so that might scare people. That might be like, oh my God, what does that mean? What does relaxing mean? Relax in a way that feels cozy, comfortable. You are not on alert. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your jaw is unhinged. You are feeling at your most calm, chill state. That is going to be different for any person, but the point is find your way to that state. And it can be through hobbies. I know that's actually like actively doing something. That can be through watching TV. That can be laying on the couch and having a rot day, which I don't believe it should be called a rot day, but just kind of like sitting around and doing nothing. That could be socializing with friends. Whatever replenishes you in a restful way, do that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like sleep for 20 hours a day. It can just mean doing something that is restorative and good for you, your soul. Have a sit while you're reflecting and think about what that can mean for you, but the most important thing is that you are resting and giving yourself the downtime that you need and you deserve and you should have as we head into a new year. We really shouldn't be jumping from one year to the next without any leeway time. And I know society will probably try to convince you otherwise, but you really do need a reset. And if it's the beginning of a new year where most people are able to do it, do it. Like schedule it in, find a way to make it happen, even if it's for a day. I know other people get more than a day, they get like a whole holiday break, but find a way to fit it in. This is the most critical thing. With rest comes even better and effective productivity come the new year. So just keep that in mind. But that is all for this week's video. I think it was more on the short side and very, very yappy, so I hope you don't mind, but I think this video is really, really important. It's a good reminder, and I like to do it every single year because it's not only a reminder for you, as you've had, I'm sure, such a busy, full year, but it's also a reminder for me because I'm one of those people that does not know how to sit down and rest. So I hope we are going to all collectively end this video off and start resting together. I wish you the best of luck on that. If you have any thoughts or comments that you want to share with me, definitely leave them down below. But thank you once again, and I will talk to you in next week's video.